Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with you and with Abby Rigler and George Katinsky and Pastor Jared Williams, all from Grace United Methodist Church. They've got so much going on this weekend. Just grab your calendar right now and start circling these days. First of all, Friday and Saturday rummage sale gets started at 8 o'clock both days and will go until 3 o'clock, and they have something for everyone. And then Sunday, don't think about cooking because you're all invited. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're all invited to Grace United Methodist Church starting at about noon and having just a multicultural picnic, just whatever your background happens to be. If you'd like to bring a favorite family recipe that's been handed down for generations, go ahead. If not, just go ahead and experience the taste of grace happening on Sunday. That is, all of this is going to be raising funds for, well, no, the picnic is free. But the rummage sale and bake sale taking place are all going to be supporting the Journey of Hope, and that's what we want to find out next. George, what is that?
Well, actually, the rummage sale will be going to support the youth group.
Oh, that's right. Okay, youth group and all of the things that they do.
Right.
And then what is supporting the Journey of Hope?
We'll be holding a silent auction of gift baskets. I've been out collecting donations from the people or the merchants in the community, North Canton, Plain Township, in that area. And I have to tell you, they've been very generous in their support of our efforts here. And if I could, I'd like to give a little bit of background on our Journey of Hope.
Please do.
I'm a cancer survivor, and my wife, Chris Confalone, who was my caregiver, and I are the leaders of our Journey of Hope at Grace United Methodist Church. We're a cancer care ministry, and our goal is to make sure that cancer patients, their caregivers, and their family members know that they don't have to fight their battles with cancer alone. Mm-hmm. And we provide prayer, support, education, and fellowship. Chris and I were trained by the Pastoral Care Department of the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Mm-hmm. There was a program started by Reverend Percy McCrae back in 2004,
and they've had tremendous success, I understand.
Well, yes, and I can tell you in the class that Chris and I were in, we had 22 people from all over the United States and from Trinidad, Tobago, from the Bahamas, and actually from Indonesia. So the word of this program is getting out there, and I might point out a little bit of story that we had along the way, is one of the things they have you do is ask how you heard about the program. Mm-hmm. A good 25% said it was through emails, and they asked, well, where did the emails come from? Nobody could answer.
Really? Really?
So it's kind of a God thing.
I guess that's what we would call a God thing. Cancer Treatment Centers of America, is this faith-based?
Cancer Treatment Centers of America has 5 places around the United States. They are actually a for-profit hospital, mm-hmm. but they do have a pastoral care department. And their point is to treat cancer and also to treat the person. Not just medically, but also spiritually, and they go for a more holistic approach to treatment.
I understand that those people with faith do way better in their treatments and in recovery, and congratulations for being a survivor. I understand that faith plays a huge part in that. Can you touch on that?
Certainly it does, and I think if you're ever going to turn to God, it's going to happen when you're diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
You face a life-changing situation. And, of course, the first one to return to is God, whether you've been in contact with him before in the last few years or not. That's where you naturally go. And it was for me. Mm. And a couple of things that I faced, and I think that all cancer patients face, is you start to become isolated because you think you've been afflicted. And if you say the word cancer to somebody, the first thing they do is back off and get this deer in the headlights look because they really don't know how to talk to somebody with cancer. That's what I found. And I remember when I was diagnosed, the doctor himself couldn't really address anything other than the cancer itself and the medical treatment. And my wife, Chris, didn't really know how to deal with cancer at the time because she didn't have any experience with it. My family and friends just totally ignored the subject. And that's common because they don't know how to talk about it. And that's basically what we've done with our Journey of Hope, is get to the point where our people know, the cancer patients and their caregivers know that they're not out there alone.
Yes.
We have people who have been there, and we have people who know how to talk about it. So they don't have to go through it alone. I have to point out, too, that our current, we train people to do what we do. We have right now 8 individuals who have been trained and are out there helping in the community with the cancer patients and their caregivers. I have to point out, too, that although it's not required, All of our volunteers are either cancer survivors or cancer caregivers.
Wow.
So they know what cancer is, they know what it does, and they can be a big help in dealing with the effects of somebody who's on a journey with cancer.
Mm-hmm. You do some wonderful things to help these people along. I'm looking at a couple of different gift baskets. What are these?
We do a couple things. One of the things we do is a healing tote. And what it does, it contains items that a cancer patient can use, things like alcohol-free mouthwash, things like that they can use but may not think of or may not be able to afford for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We also have what we call a Cancer Sucks mug. And some actually do say cancer sucks.
Yes, it does.
Basically, these are mugs filled with candy, and the reason for that is because a couple of the side effects of cancer treatment are nausea and what we call chemo mouth, where your whole taste system changes and you can't really get rid of the metallic taste that's in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some of the things we put out.
So do some of these things like peppermints and suckers and so forth, do these help that?
Yes, they do.
That's awesome.
And from the response we've been getting, people just really love this stuff.
Mm-hmm. What else besides the alcohol-free mouthwash do you provide? Because that's brilliant. What other kinds of things do you provide for people going through? That's a huge tote.
Yeah. And like I said, this is just a sample. We do larger than that.
Uh-huh.
One of the things we do, and this is something that we've been able to bring out from people in our community, not just in our church or even in our ministry, but we have volunteers in the community who are willing to help with this. They see the need and they're willing to help. One of the things that we've had happen is we have an 87-year-old lady who wanted to help, and she provided us with some handmade head wraps.
Oh, nice. Very nice, yeah.
This is important for people who have lost their hair.
Mm-hmm.
We have a prayer shawl ministry at Grace United Methodist Church, and they went so far as to actually make prayer shawls that were tailored for cancer patients. They use a special yarn that's a lot softer on skin that gets so sensitive from the cancer treatment.
I would love to know more about that. I'm a knitter, and I would love to know what kind of yarn you prefer for prayer shawls, because that would be a wonderfully welcome item, wouldn't it?
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this is wonderful. So this is all within your church congregation that you're doing this amazing effort?
Yes, and we're moving out into the community now. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing a event at Grace Church on September 23rd. It's called Pasta with a Purpose. Now, we've gotten together with the Girl Scouts, the local Girl Scout troop, and we're going to do a fundraiser, and it's a spaghetti dinner to help raise funds for a patient who's battling for the second time stage 4 cancer.
Ooh.
So the Girl Scouts will be helping us with that, and they'll help those young ladies earn a Girl Scout Silver Award.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's September 23rd, and is that at the church as well?
That'll be at the church from 3 to 6, and we're asking $10 for adults and $5 for children.
Do you make reservations ahead, or is that another one of
Either
just
way,
come?
you call ahead of time at the church, or just be there.
How must this journey be for you to be on this side of it and now helping others through it?
You know what? When I went through cancer, I had prostate cancer. And I have to say that compared to some other people, I had a really easy time of it. And maybe because I did have such an easy time, I feel that I owe it to the others to help them with what they're going through.
Tell me about the talking to people. I'm a little taken back by the fact that you say folks step away rather than surround someone with love and care and whatever they need. You're saying because they don't know what to say?
Right. And I think if we're uncomfortable with a situation, we tend to avoid that situation. And I think that's what cancer patients face when they make that announcement. But we have found a way to bridge that gap, and we found a way to help people learn to talk about cancer and learn to deal with the thing that the cancer patients are going through. So we work, and I have to say this too, we work with caregivers as well as the cancer patients, because we found that the cancer caregivers give up huge chunks of their life to deal with their cancer patients themselves. Mm-hmm. And they can sometimes actually suffer worse than the cancer patients do themselves.
In what way?
Because they don't take time out for themselves. They devote their whole lives to that patient to make sure they have what they need. So they avoid the things they need to do for themselves.
What if a cancer patient doesn't want to talk about their cancer?
Then that's fine. Mm-hmm. But one of the things we're trying to do is we're starting a group called Cancer Fighters. This will be a group of cancer survivors who are willing to go out and share the stories of what they went through. Now, if a person doesn't talk, that's fine, and we will maintain their privacy in that situation. But we found it's very helpful to actually talk about things.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're talking to somebody who's already been through it, it makes things a whole lot easier.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure someone's listening who has someone in their life with cancer and would love to know a few of the tips. Can you give us one or two of the tips of how to talk to someone who's fighting this battle?
Well, you have to remember that even though they have cancer, they're still people.
Yeah.
They're still the people you knew before, and they're going to be the people you know in the future. But you just have to get past the fact that the word cancer. Now, cancer always in the past has been a death sentence, and it's not so much anymore.
It's a different ball game now, isn't it?
It is. Treatments that they have now are amazing compared to what they had in the past. So you have to look at it not as a death sentence, but as a disease that has to be treated as any other disease does. It's a serious disease, but it can be treated, and people can live a normal, full life. I have to say that some don't. But if you can get past that stigma, you still have the same people you had before.
Well, it is a fight. It is a battle. It takes some real gumption to battle it. When you're talking about something where the treatment we still have is also very harmful to the body.
Yeah, they are pretty much pumping you full of toxic material.
Exactly. Is that the best we can do after all these years?
Well, hopefully in the future they'll come up with something better, but that's what we're dealing with right now. And they have found a way to take all those toxic materials and narrow them down to specifically what a patient needs in the area of their body that they need it. Things like radiation can pinpoint a cancer where it's growing at the time and not spread out so much to the outlying tissue of their body.
Right, because radiation, I thought, caused cancer. So it just seemed like that was a crazy cure. But,
well,
as you say, now they're able to pinpoint it, so it's really only attacking those cells you want to attack.
Right.
Very interesting. Okay, so Journey of Hope, you have, would you take donations to help you provide these kinds of items for patients and so forth? How can we help you?
Yes, we will always accept donations. There is some expense involved with putting these baskets together.
Of course.
We try to be as frugal as possible when we're putting together and still get the patients the materials they need. But yes, we will accept donations. We do ask a donation for each of these baskets and the mugs that we put out. We don't particularly specify what that donation is. It's whatever you feel you need to provide.
And I'm sure volunteers are always welcome?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we'll be starting a new class to train volunteers in the fall, and we'd be more than interested to hear from everybody who's willing to do this. Now, you don't have to belong to Grace United Methodist Church to do this. You don't have to belong to any Methodist church to do this. We'll take anybody who feels it in their heart that they need to help out with this battle.
Mm-hmm. Phone number or website where people can get more information?
The church's website is northcantongrace.org. And the church phone number is 330-499-2330.
Give that one more time, please.
330-499-2330.
Pastor Jared Williams, George Katinsky, and Evie Rigler, and I do know that some of Evie's awesome baking is going to be at that bake sale. Thank you so much for what you do in our community.
I would like to add one thing, and that
Please
is the fact that our Journey of Hope at Grace United Methodist Church does have a Facebook page.
Oh, great. All right.
It's our Journey of Hope at Grace United Methodist Church.
Our Journey of Hope?
Right.
Okay.
And I have to point out, too, that Cancer Treatment Centers of America has put out a lot of reference material, things like recipes, nutritional hints, how to live life during and after cancer that are all things they made available to us and can be accessed through our webpage or through our Facebook page.
Awesome. We will check that out. Thank you again for what you're doing in our community.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you, Susie.